All right, now we're going to do synthetic division. So we did long division first, and now we're going to do synthetic division. Now this is a short we can use only if the divisor is in the form x minus k. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're only going to use coefficients in this division process. All right. So we have to think about, we have all the terms again. So 3, 2, 1, 0. Now x plus 3, we have to make it look like that. So what I'm going to say is that's going to be x minus a minus 3. And so my k here is a negative 3. And what we do is we're going to put our k out here, so a negative 3. Then we kind of do this inverted division sign. And then we just write our coefficients here. So we have a 3 minus 2, 1, and negative 4. Okay. Now what do we do? Well, we bring down our first term, and that's going to be a 3. Now we multiply negative 3 times 3. That's a negative 9. Now we add minus 9 minus 2 is minus 11. Now we multiply again. Now we take it negative 11 times negative 3, so that's a plus 33. Now 33 plus 1 is 34. Now 33 34 times a negative 3 is going to be, that's going to be 9, 10 minus 102. Add those together, we get negative 106. Okay. Now, this last piece here, that's our remainder. And then these are going to be the order of x's decreasing by 1. So we start with x cubed. So now this is x squared, this is x, and this is no x. So our solution would be 3x squared minus 11x, and then plus 34, and then minus 106 over x plus 3. And then that would be our solution. Now we could have said plus and have a negative up here as well, but this time I'm just going to show the one answer and then we'll be good to go. All right, well, what do we know about the next one? Same thing. We're going to put our k out front. We're going to put this inverted division sign, our coefficients of the trinomial or whatever the polynomial is, and then we just start working through it. Okay, so we have a 3, a 2, a 1, a none, and then x plus 1. Again, we want x minus, so we have x minus a minus 1, so we're going to divide by that negative 1. So then we take our coefficients 6, negative 10, negative 7, negative 15, bring that down, multiply 1 times negative 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Add that, it's negative 16. Multiply, it's positive 16. 16 minus 7, that's going to give us a 9. It's going to give us a minus 9. And then that's going to give us a negative 24. And again, that is our remainder. And so we started with a cubed, we reduce it by 1. So this is x squared, this is x, and then that's just a number. So our final solution will be 6x squared minus 16x plus 9, and then minus 24 over x plus 1. Okay. And then that would be our solution. And again, this is synthetic division, and the key thing is we have to have it in the form x minus k. All right, so our next one is a tricky one. It says we're supposed to still do this synthetic division, but we just don't have x minus k. So we have to think about, what do we need to do to get that into that form? Well, if we have 3x minus 1, and we need to have x minus something, how do we get this to have just that 1 there? Because that's what we need, is just the 1x, and we have 3x. Well, we're going to have to divide by 3, right? 3 divided by 3 is going to give us 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1/3 times everything here. So 1/3 times this is going to give me x, and 1/3 times that's going to give me a minus 1/3. Okay, and so I'm now going to divide by this. And so what do? Well, if I divided the denominator by 1/3, guess what we have to do to that numerator? So let's write it as I would write it normally. So 9x cubed minus 9x squared plus 18x plus 5 all over our original 3x minus 1. Now, what did I do? I took the denominator times 1/3, okay? And that gave me the x minus 1/3, which is what I need. But if whatever I do in the denominator, I have to do in the numerator, okay? So that's the key. To get what we need here, we had to multiply by that. But really, we have to multiply by 1, and so we have to divide or multiply both the numerator and the denominator by that. So now I'm going to take 1/3 times that. I'm going to get a 3x cubed. 1/3 times that, I'm going to get a minus 3x squared. And then 1/3 times that, that's going to be plus 6x, and then plus 5/3. And then I already knew it's going to be x minus 1/3. Okay. Now I can go and do this division. Now I've got the polynomial reduced by the 1/3. I've got my proper x minus k. And so my k is 1/3, because remember it's x minus something and we don't have that in parentheses, putting another negative. So it's just 1/3 here. And then I have a 3, a -3, a 6, and a 5/3. So we bring our first one down. That's 3. 1/3 times 3 is 1. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. Well, now we're starting to have fractions. So minus 2 times that's a minus 2/3. Now we're going to have to multiply that by 3/3 to get the common denominator. So that's 18 minus 2 is 16/3. Now if we multiply that by 1/3, that's going to be 16/9. But that's not a common denominator, so we multiply by 3/3. So we have 15 plus 16/9. So 15 plus 16 is 31/9. All right, so now what do we have? We started with x cubed, so this is x squared, x a number. This is our remainder. So what we have is 3x squared minus 2x, and then plus 16/3. And then we have plus 31/9 over, and then we had our value of x minus 1/3. All right, now a fraction over fractions and all that stuff is kind of silly. So what is this really? It's really going to be, if we take and look at it, we have 31/9 divided by some value. Let's just call it x. Well, that's the same thing as 31/9 times 1/x. And so what I can do is I can bring that denominator here and have 31/9x. And so I'm going to bring that 9 down in front. So that gives me 3x squared minus 2x plus 16/3 plus 31/9 times x minus 1/3. Okay. And that would be a good answer. And I would say that would be probably where I would stop. But because I know what we can do here, we can get back to our value here. What we do is we're going to take one factor out of this, because this is 3 times 3. I can rewrite this also as, now if I have 3 out in front and I take the other 3 times everything in here, so the inside I'm going to take 3 times x and get 3x, 3 times a negative 1/3 and I'm going to get minus 1, then I'm kind of back to my original kind of our divisor here, the 3x minus 1. And so again, I would go with either one of those if we were on a test. Sometimes they want you to go back and do this because it's kind of in their most reduced form, so we don't have that fraction in the denominator. And so some of them will say this is the key one, and others will say, yeah, this one's fine too. So however you get to it, that works for me. And if you have issues, let me know. All right, so this one looks to be the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about this by first writing it all out on top. So 4x to the fourth minus 2x to the third. Oh, now I have a 0x squared minus 4x plus 2 all over 2x minus 1. Well, it's just going to be like the last one. I'm going to have to get that value of 1 here. So to get the value of 1, I'm going to have to multiply by 1/2. And again, whatever I do on the denominator, I do in the numerator. So now my problem becomes 4 times 1/2, so that's going to be 2x to the fourth, minus 2 times 1/2, so it's going to be minus x cubed plus 0x squared. 4 divided by 2 is going to be a minus 2x. 2 divided by 2 is going to be plus 1 all over. And now I have x minus 1/2. Okay. So that is now my problem I need to work. And so I take my k, which is the 1/2, and then I have my 2, a -1, a 0, -2, and a 1. Bring down my first term, so it's a 2. 1/2 of 2 is 1. 1 plus a -1 is going to be 0. Half of 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. A half times 0 is 0. Here we go. Minus 2 plus that's going to be minus 2. Half of that's going to be a minus 1. Add those, that's 0. So this time I have a remainder of 0. So I started with a 4, so this is going to be x to the third, x squared, x, and just a number. Okay, and so my value is actually going to be 2x cubed and then minus 2. Okay, and that's all I have. There's no remainder, and those middle terms all disappeared, and so it's just 2x cubed minus 2. All right, what about this one? Well, we're going to do the same thing. Well, this time, luckily, guess what? We don't have to do anything. We just have k as 1. But we have a little bit of issue here because we have x to the fourth. There's no x cubed, so 0x cubed. Then we have a minus 3x squared. Well, now we don't have any x, so 0x, and then plus 1. And then again, that's all divided by x minus 1. So 1 is going to go into this because our k is 1. So we have 1, 0, -3, 0, 1. Bring down our first term, that's 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. That's going to give me a -2. That's going to be -2. That's going to be a -2. And that's going to give me a -1. And so that is my remainder. And this is going to be, we started with 4, so this is x cubed, x squared, x, and a constant. So we have 1x cubed plus x squared minus 2x, and then minus 2, and then minus 1 over x minus 1. And then that should be our final value after we do our division. And again, it's synthetic division. All right, so let's pause there. We'll come back.